Oh, poker time. How I love thee.
Well, you're in luck then, because this is actually an episode of Poker Time.
Yeah.
We're going to be commentating on here.
Fell right into that one, didn't I?
Yeah, you fool.
Walked right into it. All right, here we go. It's 5:10. It's poker time.
Although there's a $20 button straddle in this hand, which Russell has called with King Deuce suited. Russell's ranges vary wildly. Sometimes they're pretty loose, like now.
Pretty good flop for King Deuce in general, and especially against King 6. And the hand is over.
Why were you excited about Poker Time?
Because
hands like that, is that what does it for you?
I love it. I love everything about it. I love the players. I love the cards. I love the competition. I love the gamble. I love people getting wrecked. I love it.
Getting wrecked.
Fortunes are made and lost on this show, Grant.
Okay.
I mean, for some people, maybe.
Fortunes are made during the filming of this show in the world.
Yeah.
It happens.
Anyway, let's get back to the show.
Okay.
Dan Ross is boss. Is in the small blind because we have another straddle from the button.
Hey, Wonka might actually play this one, but he might not. He is under the gun.
No, he's not really, though. We've already had 2 players fold.
True, and it's 8-handed in the first place.
Yeah. It's kind of a mandatory open there.
Yep. We haven't seen much Wonka action this session.
No, he has not been getting cards, and if he doesn't get cards, he's mostly not playing.
He's a pro.
Stewing Anger not defending the King 5. Makes sense to me.
So far, I think we've done well as a group.
You mean them, us, or all of us?
Us.
You and me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're doing great.
Yeah.
Fortunes are being made and lost in this booth.
People bet on the next word we're going to say.
And we're losing
sometimes
money.
they make a lot of money.
And sometimes we lose money.
Yeah.
We need to bet more.
Giraffe.
In the booth.
I just made somebody a lot of money.
Yeah, someone. That one came in.
Yeah.
That was a surprise.
That was a long shot.
Yeah, it was a solid 150 to 1 for the episode. All right, so it looks like we're just going to have a round of button straddles at least. Wonka, only $10. Already has half the straddle in there.
He knows the strategy. A lot of players don't. Like you can't just be limping because of the pot odds you're getting there. It's just you're throwing away money over time.
Yeah, because you run into spots like this. Like Sam's going to raise that ace queen. It's going to end up being more than 65 and Wonka limps. And Wonka's almost never going to call King 4 suited out of position there.
And you're always going to be out of position, almost always at least. But look at this. Wonka's a fool. Would have made top pair.
He's always going to be out of position. The small blind already folded.
That's true. Dan, having defended his button, is going to flop middle pair and turn even better. Wonka's a genius.
I thought that was the answer. Which I don't know what are you good at, but okay, sure.
This is a pretty mandatory give up for Sam at this point. Like, what does Dan Ross have except for a float?
Clubs. That's it.
Yeah. Clubs are possible. Sam's not doing great against clubs anyway, equity-wise.
That's a great point. Unless Dan Ross can have like 4 or 5 suited and continues to fire on the gutter on the turn. That's the only other thing.
Yeah.
4, 5, 5, 6
It's
suited.
just probably just not enough out there to even consider heroing.
I agree. Assume he makes it only 80, but you can't love that if you're Sam. Why so cheap?
Doesn't matter how good the odds are when you're drawn dead.
Well,
which
Sam
is.
Sam just cannot turn down those odds. The problem, of course, is if there's a bluff, well, that brings in some of the bluffs anyway.
4 or 5 got there.
Yeah, only clubs now. A 6 is, of course, winning as well, like 5, 6. Dan Ross definitely going to bet again. There's no question.
He's probably putting Sam on something like 10s.
This is the time to size it up for sure. Either get value against a king, but basically rep either trip 7s or better or clubs, right?
What's the worst hand you can value bet here is Dan, especially for this size? It looks like 325.
Can you ever bet
King Queen? Maybe
that's what
minimum?
I was just thinking. King Queen
Because you'd expect Sam to bet Ace King.
on the flop. Yes.
Yeah. Well, on the turn at least, or maybe on the turn.
Well, he check called the flop. He's probably not going to suddenly lead the turn with Ace King. Usually, he's just going to continue or go in check call mode all the way. I think King Queen is totally a value bet there. I don't know if you're going to pot size value bet it, but you might.
You might.
Cheers.
I kind of like that play. You're polarizing with a hand that's almost always, when it's good, it's good against the whole calling range almost.
Yep.
Seems like a simple check call, check fold, but there's so much to it, Grant.
It's like that wardrobe in the movie Narnia. It's like, is there just clothes in here?
By the way, the movie's called The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Is the
Narnia
mov-
is the place
The
where they
movie
go
Narnia,
through. It's the Chronicles of Narnia.
where there's a tiger named Asgard,
Close. Anyway,
and it's
Wonka,
based loosely on Buddhism.
Wonka limps. If you notice, Wonka does limp the king-queen suitor from the small blind because he can call a raise with this hand. He might even be re-raising sometimes with this hand.
My advice to you.
In fact, he flops a flush draw.
Did you know that in that closet is actually not just clothes?
What else is in there?
There's a tiger.
It's a lion.
A tiger named Asgard.
Aslan, I think. Is it Aslan?
Asgard the tiger. He has an army of squirrels.
So Wonka gets folds from 2 pairs on the turn. It checks through on the flop and he just gets folds. I can understand it, but good outcome for Wonka there.
Typically, you wouldn't think that an army of squirrels would be a problem, but they have sharp utensils and can cause at least minimal pain.
Would
to-
you rather
to the
fight-
calves and feet
Would you rather fight
of the human?
one squirrel-sized horse, or sorry, an army of squirrel-sized horses, or one horse-sized squirrel?
Army of squirrel-sized horses, because I don't think horses are that good at fighting anyway. Squirrels
Yeah.
got more like dexterity and it's got claws and
Yeah,
stuff. you know?
I kind of agree. Also, it's a better story,
Yeah.
isn't it? Like,
I
I saw one horse-sized squirrel. No one cares.
I stomped on 1,000,000 tiny horses.
Yeah, and they were trying to kill me. That's amazing.
Yeah.
You could sell
Asgard,
the movie rights.
Asgard knows about it. Sam has ace king. Mustache has nines.
Russell with threes. Everyone with a hand here.
These are all reasonable hands. It's called a poker time miracle.
Yeah. Good flop for both nines and threes, especially nines. Doubt Sam's going to continue on this board. He does not. Mustache has a pretty easy bet here. And the question is, will Russell continue with 2 threes on this board? It is a call. It's a reasonable call, I think, but it's tough with 2 guys behind you.
Said he folded. It looks like he still has cards.
I thought he put chips in there, right?
Yeah.
He did. Yeah, they screwed up. Well,
Damn.
it's a shock.
Damn interns.
Yeah. King Jack would have got there, but it's gone. It's nines against threes. And the question now is for Mustache to try and get value. It looks like he just checks it back there on the river. What do you think? Would you be going for value there?
Yes, big time.
Because you feel like you're up against like pocket fives a lot, right?
Or a 4.
Or a 4.
I would definitely have gone for value there.
Yeah. Mustache playing it a little carefully there. I don't know if he would have gotten called. Maybe you can't get action from a 4 when the jack hits. Maybe that's the concern.
Grant
But
hates it. Grant hates it.
there you go. They're talking about it.
I guess so.
And Sam knows that you hate it. Sam's right.
I wonder what they are talking about.
I don't know. We were talking over it as we usually do, but they really might have been talking about if he should have gone for value or not. That wouldn't surprise me.
That would not surprise me either.
And then Sam saying Grant hates it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
kind of perfect.
But only one of those 2 opinions
Is relevant.
is important, like is worth having.
To be fair to Mustache, he can grow a better mustache than me.
Yeah, I think so. I would take Mustache over you in the octagon as well.
Oh, yeah. Big time. Big time.
Big time. What are the odds on you against Mustache in the octagon? Are they worse or gretter than the odds of you saying the word giraffe on this show?
Can I have pepper spray or something? Can I have a little help?
In 7-4, flops best. And now
Turn super best.
we've been seeing this turning of trips a few times.
I think that must be a Sagittarius thing.
Yeah, the moon is in retrograde.
Yeah.
And the call with ace high, Russell, non-believer,
Russell, often a non-believer.
drawing quite dead, though. At least it's a spade on the river.
No.
It's kind of a big question as to whether to go for value as Wonka here.
I think he should.
They have to move on your
It's always a check back from all the hands that can call you if he checks, right? All the worst hands. Jacks are checking, eights are checking.
Show the 4.
We can fold to a raise pretty comfortably.
I guess so.
Wow, what's wrong with him?
But you're saying that because it's Sagittarius thing.
Yeah, it's the retrograde moon of Saturn.
Right.
Is in the 9th circle.
If it was the gecko sign, it would be different.
Yeah,
That's
one
one of-
day.
that's one of the signs, right?
I aspire to the gecko sign,
Yeah.
but I'm not currently there yet. Is that how it works? You move up the levels of signs?
I think so.
I'm not a big astrology guy, I guess, as you can tell.
I am, in fact.
That's why you call it the gecko sign.
One of them is a gecko. I think it's an insurance company.
That's the sign?
Well, the sign and the insurance company are kind of one and the same.
If everyone could have seen your face when you said well, like you were so like annoyed and disappointed that I didn't already understand what the gecko sign insurance company zodiac thing meant. Like I can't believe I have to explain this. I'm so annoyed.
Sometimes I'm baffled.
Yeah.
There's him. There's have fun driving that U-Haul.
Looks like we've got a under the gun blind raise from Stewie Younger, which is a rarity from him.
Well, I assume it's a straddle.
Driving a U-Haul at 6:30 tomorrow.
Yeah.
He's straddling from under the gun. That's what's happening.
I guess the software doesn't allow for that. But it's also a rarity to see
right.
in a game that allows button straddles for a player like Stewie to
Yeah.
do an under the gun straddle.
I wonder if they decided to do a round of them.
That's probably what's
We'll
going on.
find out shortly. He does flop best.
No, we're getting a new.
Everyone with a diamond in their hand.
The old cat, yeah.
Speaking of couches,
And a new cat.
Bukake.
But this is going to be the end of things pretty quickly. Little half pot bet. Look at the pain. It's so hard to fold, Russell.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Russell's not having the best session, and each fold seems a little bit more painful
Yeah,
because it means you're not making your money back.
it's true.
We've all been there.
No doubt. I hate folding, so I understand.
Folding hurts more when you're losing, which is why some people end up chasing losses a little bit more.
Yep. You see, there's another under the gun. I think
Yeah.
they are. I think they are doing a round of straddles.
All right, let's up the ante, boys. That's what Phil Hellmuth would say.
Boys.
Yeah.
Hashtag positivity.
Yep.
Hashtag I did a thing which you should all love me for.
Yep.
Hashtag I'm the greatest in the world.
That's the gist of it, yeah.
Stan Ross with the straddle
Looks like a limp from Mustache.
with ace queen suited. Interesting.
Maybe he's going for a limp re-raise.
And Russell comes in with the queen three of
Russell's
diamonds.
playing everything right now. Russell's on tilt, I think.
Sam is going to call with the diamonds
Ooh.
as well. And there is the hand.
Mustache would be sad if he was going for the limp re-raise here.
It's very reasonable to go for a limp re-raise right here where it looks like Stewie Younger could absolutely be squeezing, and he does have that play in him.
And Stu could be doing this for value with hands like ace-10 suited.
Absolutely.
But luckily for Mustache, he's decided just to call.
It is a good calling hand.
Yeah,
And he is
you're-
in position, but he doesn't want to bring in the whole world behind him. And as we see, there's one of them. Now, it turns out that's a hand he can handle. but-
This ace-queen suited flops so much better than ace-queen off. It feels more comfortable to let more people in.
That's fair, but it's a hand that plays also very well as a 3-bet here.
Not against kings.
No, not against kings. Anyway, here we go, and this is a pretty good outcome for Mustache. So
34%.
2 hearts. Oh
Ooh,
my!
we might have
goodness.
a train wreck.
Someone's gonna get spanked.
We haven't had a run it twice for a while on this show.
I don't think we ever run it.
We
Twice on
don't
this show.
allow them to run it twice,
Yeah,
do we?
so we've not.
So it's been a while.
Yes, it has. All right, so Stuart trying to decide how to size it on this board where he is crushing the board.
I'm glad we don't let them run it twice.
Yeah,
it
it
kind of
sucks.
ruins pots like this, right?
Yep.
Where somebody can really get hurt, and it's just like, well, let's just change it to we can't really get hurt that often.
It takes away a lot of the gamble and a lot
Yeah.
of the thrill of honestly bluffing and making big plays.
That was one thing I always respected about Barry Greenstein in the early high
Mm.
stakes poker days is that he would never run it twice, which is like a great incentive for his opponents to fold more.
Well, yeah, not to do like the big semi bluff
Yeah.
all in plays. Yeah, exactly. If you know you can't, if you know you can run it 3 times and basically get your equity back
Yeah.
when called. It's almost a free roll to move
Right.
in.
Phil Ivey also was.
Whoa.
doing it.
Stewie checks top set here. Gotta believe he's going for the check raise, right?
Yeah, he's losing only to the straights, which are very unlikely.
10-8 and 5-8. I mean, so unlikely.
With 2 hearts out there, that's probably the most likely hand in Mustache's range.
Yep.
It's either that or the other king. And you want to check raise against all of those things because you might get called by the other king sometimes. And the flush draws, you want to charge, and whether they call or not, it's a pretty good outcome.
I think we might see an all-in right here from Stewie with Mustache with 1.2K back. He might just shove it. Because any raise is effectively going to be moving him in.
I mean, if you want to perfectly mathematically make it like slightly unprofitable for the flush draws to call, but also make it so they do call sometimes, you could try to do that instead.
You can make it like 700, 800, something like that. But when he's only got 1.2 back, he'd have 700 back. He might call. I guess he would be sort of forced to call if you could do it. So or it's a tough spot with the ace in his hand as well. He probably is forced to call. Looks like Stewie did go all in. Not surprising.
And now Mustache has to fold unless he just really thinks that Stewie would do this with like Jack 10 of hearts.
I don't see how you can call here.
Jack 10 of hearts is a reasonable candidate, but
yep. But he has to let it go.
Yeah.
Boy, that hurts, huh? Not to, like when you can just check it back. I understand completely why you bet. I like his bet.
Yeah.
But when you can just check it back and then you don't even get to realize your equity on the river, that is so painful. It's one of the worst things in Hold'em.
It sucks.
Worst feelings, yeah. But I would have bet as well, and I would have been blown off the hand as well.
Yep.
And Stewart is not crazy enough that you can call there. There are a few players who play in this game, and of course, every game that you can absolutely call with the ace queen of hearts there. That's the guy I was thinking of. The people who are going to always have flush draws and rarely have very strong hands.
But the thing is, you always lose to Marty with like bottom pair. Marty has bottom pair, and it's like a deuce of diamonds on the river.
And he's like, "Oh, you got me again. I only have bottom pair," and you're like, "Nice hand." Yeah. Anyway, tough spot there for Mustache. I actually think he played it pretty well all the way through. It just really didn't work out.
I agree.
That's poker, man.
More sports going on this time around, right?
I thought you hated when people say that's poker.
I do. I hated it when I said it as well. But you know what? Not as much. Because I put a little more.
Ooh, Dan's got the Dan aces, the four deuce.
He loves this hand. He loves bluffing with this hand. He loves showing people he bluffed them with this hand. Sam's got something. Queen Jack of Hearts.
Very nice hand, yeah.
Easy call.
This is probably going to be a 3-bet from Dan Ross.
A lot of the time when he's out of position, he's got Sam has already called, so it's a squeeze opportunity as well.
Looks like a call, and that might be because Dan is the opener. He has not been very active and is often not very active.
So it makes me feel like, are there more chips going?
So to be out of position to player is not ideal. And 4 deuce is got a great chance to win this hand if Dan wants to continue.
This is a board he absolutely should continue on.
I would expect him to continue. One of the nice things about opening with a hand this bad is it's very easy to bluff because your plan was pretty much always to bluff the flop.
I mean, if it's like a 9-10 jack all spade board, you're probably not going to bluff.
Fine.
But a board like this,
anything that's close, you're gonna lean towards bluffing, right? Now, Dan Ross may call this once.
He may. He does have the queen of diamonds to go along with his good ace high, but
he just thinks Dan's range is a little too tough. And let's show him the bluff. There it is.
Yeah.
He loves showing it.
Finally, I got a premium.
I mean, Dan Ross is right that Digital Dan's range is a little too tough. It's just that he's got those 16 combos of 4 deuce in there that aren't as tough.
Yeah.
That are just part of the Dan range.
Indeed. Dan Ross says we see the big winner so far. Really big loser, but not too much blood yet has been drawn, spilled.
Unlike in the Great Squirrel War.
I forgot that you play that like
the Great Squirrel War.
Yeah.
That is your ace.
That's what they called the first Squirrel War before they knew there were going to be multiple ones. Now it's just Squirrel War 1.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh my God, Digital Dan with back-to-back 4
Oh,
deuces.
he's got to raise.
It's suited.
You have to do
it's suited.
You have to raise.
You have to raise, Dan. You can't just call. And there it is.
That's the stuff.
It's funny because after he shows the bluff, I would assume he's tighter than normal. You know, he's going to have a stronger range here.
This should work
not
more
a weaker
often.
range, yeah.
And as we see, Russell's got Jack 3, but it's not going to work against Russell because Russell's seeing all the flops.
As long as hearts don't come out, this shouldn't be too bad for anybody. There are no hearts.
That's not the type of board you love as Digital Dan, as a bluffing board.
But your head's up, you're in position, and you have 4 high. You might as well take a shot. You got no equity here, and you know it. Very reasonable, just about $100 and see what happens.
Russell might call because he has a gut shot.
When it's all clubs?
Just knowing how Russell's been playing, I think he might.
I don't think he will.
No,
And
he
once again,
doesn't.
show it again. There it is again.
Oh my God.
That's just like hot chocolate on a cold day right there, man. It's perfect. Give it to him again, poker gods.
Jonathan, button staying. We're doing the button
4-2-2.
stay.
That seems quite.
It's good stuff, Digital Dan.
Wow.
Quality stuff.
Now we have a bomb pot, so we
Back-to-back,
won't have
you
the
won't
opportunity
get
to see a
dealt
third
it.
4 deuce in a row,
Back-to-back.
but
No.
maybe after the bomb pot.
Yep, we'll keep an eye out for it.
Yeah.
Grant.
You learn how to flop with it. That's
This is one of those skills you learn at
yes.
all age.
Exactly. What?
Who knows what he just said?
He's
He's hemorrhoiding over there. Fuck that guy.
4-2-2.
This will be a double board Omaha bomb pot, which means it will be impossible to know who has what.
Well, we're going to do our best, as we always do.
Yeah.
And, of course, the bomb pot is where everyone antes $10, and we go right to the flop. There's no pre-flop action. Here we go. Ace, queen, deuce for one of the boards.
Well, Mustache has a gut shot. That's all we know so far.
At some point, we'll see the second board, I'm sure.
And the other hands.
Maybe. There we go. Queen, 6, 8, 2 spades on the bottom.
So any sort of queen with anything else going on is a pretty good hand to have.
Yep. Pocket queens is the nut hand right now.
Yes. Pocket queens with 2 hearts. Or 2 spades.
Two
spades,
spades,
in
yeah.
fact, yeah.
But we're never going to know what anyone else has, and that's fine.
We like it that way.
It's better. Somebody bet.
Looks
But
like
there
Russell
is
bet.
Real problems. Wheel's going to call.
We're getting close to advancing technology here.
What I can tell you is that Dan Ross does have 4 cards. He's the one who bet. Okay, good to know. Russell called with that 7-5-4-3, so that must be connecting with the other board. Wheel does have a queen in his hand.
It is connecting with the other board in a big way now.
Does he have a straight on the
Yeah.
other board? Okay.
Yeah, he does. He's also got the flush draw now on the top board.
Board is paired on top. And we don't know what Dan has. And if Dan bets again, oh, here we go.
He's
Aces
got
and sevens.
aces full.
Oh, wow, on the top. Is there a 7 on the bottom? No, there is not. Okay, so he really just has aces full. He knows he's really only going to win one of these boards if we get to showdown. Almost always.
He blocks the straight on the bottom, although Russell has the straight anyway.
He's just happy to put a lot of pressure on and essentially free roll half the pot.
Yep.
And a 6 on the river. Can he get Russell? Hearts as well. Oh, Russell makes a flush.
Yeah.
It's going to be really hard to get Russell to fold. You're going to have to put in one hell of a bet. Now, you can afford to because you're only losing to quads on the top.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect quads too often.
And if you're losing to quads, you're at least some of the time winning the bottom. He does go all in to try and put maximum pressure on Russell. Wow.
Interesting play.
What does Russell do here? I think he may have to fold. He can only win half the pot.
He
knows
knows
it.
he knows he cannot win the top.
He has
obviously.
7 high, and he's got to hope his 5 of hearts is good. His 5 high flush is good, and he does let it go. I think that's correct.
Yeah.
Nice play by Dan. As long as you're not up against the pocket deuces, you're loving
I mean,
life.
it's a complete disaster if you're
If
against
he
the deuce.
snaps, you know it's pretty bad. But
Maybe you still win the bottom though if you're against deuces.
you know what? You figure like you were gonna bet he was gonna raise and you were gonna call anyway though. Like you can't
It's-
fold. You can't fold aces on a double board there.
Yeah.
You just can't.
Obviously excluding the bomb pot.
That is pretty good.
We're back.
It feels great to be back, and we're on 4 deuce watch, of course. See if Digital Dan for the 3rd time in a row gets it, and for a 3rd time in a row bluffs everybody.
All right, I'll give you 5-1 on this.
I mean, I'll take it. Give me 5-1 all day, and I'll
It's
take
only
it.
available for the next minute.
Okay, I'm taking it now. 5-1. But to 1 what?
we're
Five of
betting-
your dollars to 500 of your dollars to one of my punches in your face.
We're betting bugle chips.
Bugle chips?
You know those cone-shaped
Of
chips?
course I mean, you mean, oh yeah, bugles.
Yeah.
They're fabulous. The snack bugles,
It's phenomenal.
they are quite good, and you know it. Russell limping the A7 suited now.
Here's a life pro tip. Fill a bugle with melted cheese.
And there's Dan Ross flopping best. You got to see the flop for free, and probably would have folded to a raise, probably. Instead, it's a small pot, though. He only bets $15, and Russell cannot give up for 15. That's understandable. He's got 2 back doors and the ace. That's not a good card, but it may go check,
We
check.
asked Eddie the same question. Would Eddie be up?
I'm gonna say no.
Dan's king does still play. It is reasonable to bet here to deny equity. Get value against a worse 8. But I guess he checked it back.
Time to bet for value now.
Yeah, I think so. Try and give specifically value out of an 8, and he gets snap called by the ace high. So gets the bad news. At least it was cheap,
Yeah?
much like your shoes.
It's weird.
It's a compliment.
Thanks.
You didn't pay very much for your shoes. That's good.
It's his birthday.
I don't know where to go. I don't know where to go with this.
It feels like victory to me.
It's weird because I paid like a medium amount for my shoes. It's not like I have particularly expensive shoes or inexpensive shoes. Just shoes, man.
Well, I'm sure the whole public is really glad to know how much you paid for your shoes. That really sets everyone's mind
Medium.
at ease.
I paid medium.
You've saved your reputation in front of everyone. Digital Dan is
Why are you-
raising the
what are you-
sevens.
What are you doing?
We go with Jack 10 suited.
Not playing.
I don't know what I'm doing. Isn't that clear? Is that not clear?
It's always been.
It's been
clear.
years of poker time. You should know that I'm just talking into a microphone. There's nothing else going on here. So Wonka's already folded.
Oh, Russell's got a lot more equity than you might expect for King 3 suited.
Yeah. This is kind of a fair fight here. 3 ways. Did you
And
know-
that is how you flop with King 3 of diamonds right there.
Yep. That is a hell of a flop. The only thing that's going to get him in trouble now is
A queen.
a queen or a 7. But the queen of diamonds isn't safe. He's got to dodge 5 cards here. That is not one of them. Time to start betting.
This might just be the end of the hand.
Only
Oh,
$30.
30.
Dan has to call.
Dan's,
So
yeah.
does Wheel. Everyone has to call.
Yep, I agree. That's a small bet. I'm going to say it.
Wheel getting almost 10-1.
I'm not afraid
He's
to.
going to hit a queen
say it.
1 out of every 11 times. Now, one of the queens is no good, but okay. There's some implied odds there. Once in a while, your jack or your 10 is good, too. It's probably going to check
That's
through here.
that's a bad card for Russell.
Russell bets anyway, weirdly.
I don't see the value in this bet. You maybe sometimes are hoping to get called by a 6, but that's all I can think
Yeah.
of because all of the kings are better than your king.
I really expected Russell to check there and give these guys a chance to bluff, and then I expected Wheel to take a shot, and then I was going to be curious to see if he got called.
Yeah.
But instead, it went this way.
I don't think that's a good bet.
It's hard to make money on that particular bet. I think you're right. But as Dan likes to say, math.
No, he just likes it to be on his face. He doesn't like to say it.
Yeah, and by the way, when he's not wearing a mask, it also says math on
Yeah.
his face.
He
In
got
the
a
same
tattoo.
place.
He got a tattoo.
Yeah, it looks just like that. It looks like he's wearing a mask on his face, but now he has to really wear a mask for,
And you were playing.
for the filming.
So
Yes,
Obviously.
because of math.
No, that's the bottom of Lake Washington.
I mean, it depends if you're looking at the map upside down or right side up.
The top is the top is a north.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
South-
close to
south of Lake
It's like
Washington.
north,
South
just
is
north
south.
of like Bothell, Kirkland. You know where that is? Yeah, just north of like Kirkland.
Looks like we're going to have some blind on blind action. Dan not raising. I'm a little surprised. Russell's going to...
He's going to call with a lot of hands.
So many hands that you're just doing very, very well against.
Doing better now.
Yeah.
Flopping top pair.
Just win less money. Whoa, oh, I thought he was going to call.
I think he just forgot which hand was which.
Yeah, I think so too.
Another custom.
But in position with king queen, that just feels like a
Yeah.
surprising check.
Yeah.
I will take another shot.
No, it's on the east side.
Dan enjoys being under repped. I know that.
He does. He does. Sometimes to his detriment,
Yeah.
but he does love being under rep. He wants to be underestimated.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
That's kind of true.
Yeah, I think that
Yeah.
is kind of true.
Lake Washington's a big ass lake.
Just in life.
Yeah, it goes.
Who, that guy? That's what he wants people to say about him. That guy? Him?
It turns out he's that guy.
It turns out, don't mess with Dan.
20 minutes.
I'm just going to, little pro tip, he'll have you killed.
Yeah, we've listened to porn.
Anyway, we have a straddle on the button.
Dan with the disciplined fold out of the small blind with the king jack.
Yep.
The right play. unless you have the loosest, weakest table.
I mean, you could also do things like, limp re-raise with it.
You could, but you don't have to.
Right. No, I think it's
Probably
fine.
better over time just to fold it.
I think it's fine to fold for sure.
You're under the gun -1.
Wheel limping by completing with queen 6 of spades, and
Making the classic mistake that Wonka doesn't make, that we saw earlier.
Russell already calling while Wonka's thinking, and he's got ace king.
So, well, that makes Wonka more likely to 3-bet probably. He was probably going to 3-bet
He was
anyway.
3-betting anyway. He knows Russell's calling most of the raises. I mean, it's not a huge shock that Russell called. Right?
Yeah. I mean, it's more evidence than just
Yes.
your history.
No, that's true. That's true. He doesn't have 7 deuce.
We think.
See, now Dan is sitting here. He's like, did that happen because Russell called at a turn, or did that happen because Wonka has
Right,
the hand
this,
that he
this could
has?
mess with Dan Ross's head. And if Wonka's thinking about that, which he probably is, it could mess with his head as well.
These guys are too deep, though, for Dan Ross to really do anything but call. Also, he probably knows that Wonka is pretty disciplined and isn't just going to lose his mind very often, even
Right.
when he sees Russell call, because he knows that means Russell's likely to. The Russell can't raise if Wonka
Yeah.
just calls, so he can get in a lot cheaper. No
Well-
one with a heart.
Yeah. Dan Ross still in the lead with an uncomfortable yet good hand.
More hearts, and I assume Dan Ross is going to check. Oh, no, he's going to bet to protect. Interesting.
I like it. If Wonka had a big heart, you'd almost always expect to bet on the flop.
Yep. He can bet very small, as we see Dan does here, just 105, and it just puts Wonka in a terrible spot. Like, if Wonka doesn't have a heart, how can he call?
I think this is a pretty great play by Dan
I love
Ross.
this. I love this sizing. This is like amazingly great sizing. And as you see, he does have the best hand, but if he checks, Wonka can win with the same size bet. Right?
Yep.
Like, it's incredibly hard to check call that on that board. Of course, Wonka can have a big heart sometimes. I think he probably would check back a big heart a lot there on the flop, but
Sometimes. I mean, mostly he's going to bet it, though, right?
sometimes he is, sometimes he isn't. He's got to. I think on a lot of monochromatic boards, he's going to just check back in those spots. That said, for 105, Dan gets to find out where he is pretty easily and protect, against bad cards on the river, chops, etc., etc. For the low price of $105. That was pro against pro,
We hate to see it.
but we love to see it.
We hate to see it, though.
Right. But while we're hating to see it,
Loving
we
it.
love it.
Russell's going to splash around a little more.
Well, it was the straddle by Stewie Younger under the gun.
Looks like Sam raised with Queen 10 suited.
It makes a lot of sense. Russell's been splashing around a lot,
Yeah.
and he's been calling a lot, and Sam could very well have the best hand right now. He does not, but
He has a
could.
hand that flops well no matter what.
Yep, I like this play, and there's a queen. Oh,
Ooh,
what
whoa.
a flop!
That is a flop.
Any 7 on the turn or any ace on the turn, we're going to have some real fireworks.
We might have fireworks anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
Russell has top pair, and he's been very frustrated.
That's fair. Well, if it's a chill card on the turn, which it is,
That card is so chill, bro.
I just can't really imagine Russell folding on the turn unless the sizing is crazy. Sam with a very reasonable check. Although he could have bet with all the equity that he has. And there's the ace on the river. Sam's never going to win now.
Probably shouldn't ever bet.
I mean, with the queen, it doesn't make any sense, right? You're not going to get a king to fold. You're chopping with any queen anyway.
Sam
There's the
should
bet.
Sam should fold. He blocks straight draws and he blocks spades.
Yeah, he blocks all the draws. Sucks. Such a good flop, but didn't cost him very much. I think we're going to see Sam make a disciplined fold here, and as I say it, he calls.
You're very much wrong.
It was cheap. He was getting a really good price. I think that's probably played into it, right?
He's
It's 125 to win
You just had to put
475.
Russell on just being tilty, right?
Yeah, which is not impossible.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you.
It's possible that the odds he was getting is a profitable call there, but I was expecting him to fold.
Me too.
But
Here we are. This is the world we live in.
well said. And so true.
Yeah, until you enter that wardrobe.
Whenever someone says, this is the world we live in, I'm like, yeah,
How can you argue?
this is the world we live in. It's powerful.
Thank God that doesn't happen here.
It's like when people say it is what it is. It's like, well, you know what? That's true.
We've already had
You
discussions.
called
about
that. You called that one, bro. You nailed it.
Yeah.
You could also say grasshopper equals grasshopper. You dummy. Not you, Grant. I'm saying the
You talking to the audience?
hypothetical guy. No, the hypothetical guy who says it is what it is. And anyone in the audience who says that.
Wonka's stepping out of line a little bit here. This is unusual.
Is he getting antsy because he's barely put any hands?
That's not his thing.
It really isn't. When he raises to 25, I would assume he thinks he's getting called by Russell a lot. Maybe he just wants to play hands against Russell. He's sitting in
I
the wrong
don't know.
seat for that. Same with King Queen. Looks like he's contemplating a 3-bet, and here it comes.
I don't hate it under the small blind.
I like it a lot, actually, especially with King Queen off. He's going to get a fold, a surprising fold and a surprising call probably in his mind. Like you would expect Wonka to be calling more and Dan to be folding more, but there's no way Dan's folding here.
Well, we'll never know. We're gonna
There he
the
is.
board.
There's Dan. And there's the call. If I'm Sam, I'm thinking Dan has like pocket sevens right now.
Yeah, maybe Jack 10 suited.
Sure. Instead, he's dominated. Well, good against Jack 10 suited. Not such a good flop if he's got sevens. I don't see how we don't take a shot if we're Sam, especially when we have the king of spades in our hand.
Yeah, I think we have to.
We block that flush draw, even though Dan still has the ace of spades. I think we're just going to see a bet and a call here a lot. Like Dan just can't fold this hand for 100, right? In position with the ace of
Price is
spades.
nice.
It's just a little too good. And he agrees.
Yeah, he was a Spanish teacher for 30 years. He used to, back in the day.
Okay, a lot's going to be determined right now.
Sam bets small so he could convince himself that Dan has a lot of hands like ace high.
Right, but now like Jack 10 suited is probably out of the, unless it's spades, it's probably
Yeah.
gone, right?
Take him on a bus. Take him to this.
Can you get sevens to fold with a big bet here?
He decides not to try.
So
Digital Dan very reasonably could just check back here thinking he's got the best hand at least a fair amount of the time, or he could bet to fold out a hand just like ace king.
Yeah,
right?
Sam has a lot of ace king as played.
Yeah, that would be the one hand to target, is ace king. Okay, Sam probably assumes he's losing. Should he take a shot?
I don't. If I'm Dan and Sam bets, I'm like, what do you have, man? Like, I might call with ace queen because Sam no longer has ace king if he bets.
He could have like ace 5, ace 6 suited, something like that. He is
Maybe.
going to bet. Will it work? $205 and not really worried about a 3. I guess he could have ace 3 as well.
You got to put Sam on checking an overpair on the turn in order to fold this hand. I
Hard to
think.
believe he would do that on this wet a board, right? 7-8 came in, but that's it.
Do you agree? I think you have to call.
It's a pretty good river card for us to call. I like how he sized it, by the way.
Yeah.
Small, like he's looking for value. Like he's trying to get called by this kind of a hand. Like Sam has pocket 8s. You know, when he checked the 9 turn, and now he's trying to get value out of a 6, a 5, or ace high, something like that.
Yeah, you got to first believe he would check the turn with that hand.
I don't really believe he would. That's the thing. That 9 should not change anything, especially when you have pocket 8s, right?
Yep.
So he's going for thin value with ace 6, ace 5, a hand like that. 6, 7.
I mean,
check the
he had to
turn.
3-bet it pre-flop, too.
Well, that's why I'm saying ace 5, ace 6.
It gets through. That's
Tough spot.
A nice play by Sam, and that's going to do it
Oh,
for this episode
apparently
of
it
Poker
is.
Time.
How about that?